Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a horror film from Ireland, English language, released in the year 2014, directed by Ivan Kavanagh, and this film is called The Canal. So The Canal opens up with the main character. He's an archivist, he's happily married, and he's got a young son. So at his job he has to watch all this archival footage, and one day he is told to look at this police report footage. So 1902, there was a horrible mass murder where a guy had killed his family. So this guy's watching it and he's absolutely captivated by the guy responsible for it. So every time his image comes up, this guy can't get it out of his head. So he goes back home, he's still talking about it, he's still thinking about it, but then all of a sudden he realises that his wife is acting a little bit strange and that she might be having an affair on him. So it actually turns out she is having an affair. He's absolutely shattered by this and he starts vomiting everywhere and he passes out. So the next morning he wakes up, he sees his son in bed, but he sees that his wife hasn't returned. So he soon files a missing persons report. The police believe that initially that she has just gone somewhere and hasn't come back, but then it actually turns out that they start to believe that he in fact murdered her. So he says that he's innocent, that he didn't do anything wrong, and then he starts to suspect that it might have something to do with the archival footage that he saw a few days ago. So whether or not that is the case, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Canal. I love this movie. I was not prepared for how scary this film would be, and I love the fact that it was very reminiscent of films like Sinister. It was reminiscent of films like The Shining. Just a very, very psychological film, and it will really creep under your skin because it doesn't rely on jump scares, and it just doesn't rely on cheap tricks that a lot of Hollywood films will do. So this movie is it's slow burner, but it just creeps up on you and you just have this very uneasy feeling. The archival footage was very uneasy. The way that this husband is starting to become obsessed with this story, you don't know whether or not he's going insane or in fact he's onto something. You don't know if the house is possessed by the spirits of yesteryear or in fact it's something else, it's something more realistic. You don't know whether or not he murdered his wife. You don't know what's going on, and that level of curiosity, it just swirls around and around like a whirlwind, and then right at the end you're hit with it and you just think to yourself, wow, these sorts of movies don't come along often enough. And I just absolutely love the way that this film looked. I love the way that it was acted. I thought the main character had to show a wide range of emotions, from sympathy, from psychosis, and just wanting to get to the bottom of the truth but never knowing what the truth was. In some instances you're saying, yes, he's going crazy, or yes, he's onto something, yes, he's going crazy, yes, he's onto something. All those feelings completely contradicted each other. It was like a game of ping pong. It was going back and forth, back and forth. And the director's doing this very deliberately, and the director looked like he's having a lot of fun doing it. So he's basically got the audience on a string, and he's pulling the strings, and he's making you feel so many emotions. And in horror, that is what it's all about, to make you feel incredibly uneasy. And that's exactly what the movie will do. I thought the visuals were absolutely fantastic. There were some really, really nasty moments in the movie that didn't rely on gore. There was one scene, a very violent scene, that was very hard to watch, but there's another scene at the end where I just thought that was disgusting, that was morbid, and it's just everything you want from a film like this. And atmosphere, the stuff you can't see, is the hardest thing to do. And not a lot of films do it. As I said, they either rely on just cheap jump scares like Paranormal Activity, or they rely on excessive gore. But it's the atmosphere, the stuff you can't see, the things that creep up on you, the things that make your hair stand on end. It's that sort of horror that is the hardest to do, and I think The Canal achieved in doing that. And I just thought it was a very respectful, it was a very mature film, and it just doesn't rely on violence. It just relies on creating a very slow build, burning atmosphere, and it's a very strong level of mystery as well. So you're always wanting to know what's happening around the corner. You're always wanting to know what the hell the truth is behind this story. And I love the way that this story of her disappearance intertwined with the story of this movie this guy watched from 1902. And so you've got a possession film, a possible possession film, you got a possible madman film, a guy losing his mind, and you've just got so many subgenres within this horror film that it just makes it such an in-depth experience. I love the soundtrack. It was very minimal, some very uneasy sort of moments in the score that I thought really contributed to the feeling of the film. It never dictates when you should be feeling scared, which is something that I always love, a little bit of respect from the director to the audience. And yeah, I mean, this is a genuine horror film, and not a lot of these movies are made. I think it's a great shame, but it does give me revived hope to see movies like this that are being put out there. So not enough people talk about this movie, but I think they should. Atmospherically, this is brilliant. No real negatives that I can think of. I thought every moment of the pacing was utilised, it was very deliberate, and I just thought the director made the most of everything. So overall for The Canal, highly recommended. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies. I'll see you later. Bye.